Most people think working hard automatically leads to wealth, that if you wake up early, stay loyal to your job, and keep grinding for years, one day, everything will finally pay off. But what if that's not actually how wealth works? Because there are millions of people right now working harder than ever and still feeling financially stuck. Not lazy people, not irresponsible people, just normal people. People who wake up tired, commute to work, pay bills, try their best, and somehow, after years of working, they still feel behind. This is the story of someone exactly like that. A man named Daniel. Daniel did everything society told him to do. He got a stable job in his 20s. Worked full time, rarely missed work, always paid his bills, and every month he told himself the same thing. Once I earn a little more, life will get easier. At first it sounded reasonable. When Daniel earned more money, he upgraded his life slightly, a better phone, nicer clothes, more takeout, a newer car, nothing outrageous, just normal upgrades, the kind most people make without thinking, because after working hard all week, your brain wants comfort, and modern life is built around convenience. Too tired to cook? Order food, stressful week? Treat yourself long day? Buy something small to feel better. And none of those things feel dangerous. Individually, that's what makes them powerful, because wealth usually doesn't disappear dramatically. It disappears quietly, one small decision at a time. Years passed. Daniel's salary increased, but strangely, his financial life barely changed. Every pay raise created new spending, more subscriptions, more convenience, more lifestyle upgrades, and even though he earned more than ever, he still checked his bank balance with anxiety before payday. Sound familiar? This is something called lifestyle inflation, and it traps people for decades. Here's how it works. When your income rises, your lifestyle rises too. So instead of building wealth, you simply build a more expensive life. And social media makes this even worse, because every day, people are surrounded by luxury lifestyles, vacations, cars, designer clothes, success. So naturally, people start spending to feel successful, instead of building actual financial security. That was Daniel's life. From the outside, he looked fine, stable job, nice things, normal life, but underneath, he had almost nothing building for his future. No serious investments, very little savings, no assets growing quietly in the background, just income constantly flowing out. And then one day something happened that completely changed the way Daniel thought about money. A colleague at work retired. Now this shocked Daniel because this colleague wasn't flashy at all. Old car, simple clothes, quiet lifestyle. But after talking more with him, Daniel discovered something surprising. The man was financially free. No stress about bills, no panic about work, no fear of missing paychecks, and the craziest part, he never earned dramatically more than Daniel. That confused him. How could two people work similar jobs for decades, but end up in completely different financial situations? That question stayed in Daniel's mind, and eventually, he realized something important. Income alone doesn't build wealth, assets do. That's the difference most people never fully understand. Most workers spend their entire lives focused on income, without building things that grow beyond their job. Think about it this way. Income is like carrying water in buckets every day. If you stop carrying, the water stops. But assets are different. Assets are systems that continue growing over time. Things like investments, index funds, business ownership, retirement accounts, dividends, stocks, these things work quietly in the background. And that's when Daniel realized his biggest mistake. For 20 years, he had spent almost everything he earned, not recklessly, not stupidly, just unconsciously. And modern life makes unconscious spending extremely easy. One-click shopping. Food delivery apps, subscriptions, buy now, pay later. Everything is designed to make spending feel painless. And the easier spending feels, the less your brain notices it. That's why so many people feel confused financially. They think, I don't spend that much. But small repeated spending changes, your entire future, a few convenience habits repeated for years, can quietly destroy wealth building opportunities. That realization hit Daniel hard because he understood something painful. He hadn't built wealth because he had never built ownership. Everything he earned went toward consumption. Very little went toward growth. And from that moment, Daniel changed one thing, not his job, not his income, his behavior. He started paying himself first before spending, before convenience, before lifestyle upgrades. Even if it was small, at first, it felt insignificant, a little money into investments each month. Nothing exciting, no instant results. And this is where most people quit because wealth building feels boring in the beginning. You invest a little and nothing dramatic happens, but Daniel kept going month after month, and slowly, something started changing psychologically for the first time. His money wasn't only disappearing, some of it was staying, growing, building quietly. That changed everything. Mentally, because wealth isn't just about numbers, it's about momentum. When people constantly spend everything, they feel trapped. But when even small assets start growing, people begin feeling hopeful again, and hope changes behavior. Daniel became less emotional with money, less reactive, less impulsive, because now every unnecessary purchase had a hidden cost. Not just, what does this cost today? But what future growth am I giving up? That's a completely different mindset. And over time, the gap between Daniel and most people around him became obvious, not because he suddenly became rich overnight, but because his habits changed direction. That's how wealth is actually built. Quietly, slowly, repeatedly, not through giant dramatic moments, but through small, consistent decisions made over years. And honestly, that's why many people struggle to build wealth, because modern culture celebrates visible spending, not invisible investing. Nobody claps when you invest money quietly. Nobody notices when you skip unnecessary spending. Nobody sees the future you're building in silence. But eventually, the results become impossible to ignore. Years later, Daniel still worked, but now it felt different because he no longer depended entirely on his paycheck emotionally. His investments were growing. His assets were building. His future finally had structure, and something surprising happened. The less obsessed he became with looking successful, the more financially secure he actually became. That's one of the biggest wealth lessons nobody teaches. Looking rich and being wealthy are completely different things. One is appearance, the other is freedom. And freedom usually looks quiet, simple, patient, intentional. So if you feel financially stuck right now, this is what I want you to remember. Working hard is important, but hard work alone doesn't automatically create wealth, because wealth is not built by income alone. It's built by what you keep, what you own, and what you allow to grow over time. And the earlier you understand that, the faster your financial life starts changing. Because one small shift in behavior today can completely change where you end up years from now. And if you want the next finance hack that quietly helps ordinary people build wealth, subscribe to the channel, because the next video might completely change how you think about money.